The saga continues. Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host Ken Johnson. Today we're continuing on with our DIY retractable Kayak Skeg video. So you'll see me as I finish the manufacturing of the device, and then we'll get into the install and other elements. So stay tuned. But basically this is the rough design. Now there's been talks about whether or not you should turn this knife blade back away from the boat or whether or not you should turn it the other way. Some designs have it one way, some designs have it the other. I don't really know. This is that bottom plate I was talking about with a fork. So there'll be a bottom plate there, and then this is a rough side design, and then this is how it's going to flip up and down. So kind of give you an idea of what's going on. Now let's do a proof of concept shot, just to make sure that everything is going like it ought to go. This is glued in, it'll be fine. It'll do like it's supposed to do. Right now it's acting up because it's not glued in. I'm just trying to show proof that this will work. So it kind of goes in like that, locks into place. There won't be that much slack in it because of the metal part. There'll still be some, but not much. And I can always come in with some nuts or something other to tighten that up, and if I find that to be a problem. So I can always add spacers and things of that nature to take out slack. Alright, so now I need to go ahead and glue this in here. I think I may actually make those, nah, I'm gonna keep those holes small. Alright. Okay, so what I did is I just kind of took a torch, heated up the little sides there to melt that down, and then I mixed some 2-part epoxy. This fast drying super glue 5-minute epoxy that I got from the dollar store. And to screw these in, I should mention that these already came pre-painted. I wasn't thinking about that. I bought them yesterday. I didn't realize I bought pre-painted. These are size 8s. This is 2-inch. And this is 3-inch. So what I'm going to do is drill another hole in there before I paint. 3 of these are going in, and they're going to be holding in closer, and then this other one right here will go in the back and kind of hold in the back part. And it's got to be longer, so that's the reason why I went 3 inches with it. Probably gonna mess up. I'm gonna go ahead and screw a hole here. Okay, this 10/24 little bolt with a wing nut on the end, 4 inches. Now got this kind of in, going at different angles, but oh well. It's not the best in the world, but it'll do. This will just kind of lock it into place a little bit, make it a little bit more rigid. At least in my mind it will be. does feel a little bit stronger. Now I'm gonna grind this down. I'm gonna cut this off and grind it down, and then I'm gonna spray this later. Well, I'll spray it now. I'll spray that, and then I'll spray this separately. And this I'll go ahead and grind down as well. Now, note that in my humble opinion, this is only my opinion, the Rust-Oleum 2X Ultra Cover Clear, now I got matte clear because I don't want it to be shiny, but the matte clear is what I like to use. But the 2X Ultra Cover, no matter whether it's clear paint, whatever, you're going to get more coverage and more protection from this spray paint than any other spray paint. Now, I'm not saying that this is the best to put on something. I'm saying this is the best that I've got that I'm going to use for this project. Make sense? Alright, so I'm going to say this spot right here is going to be dead center. They've got this measured in inches. This comes out to be right at 7.5 inches. Okay, so I made a mark where roughly half is on this kayak using the handle and this little lip thing. They come out this angle, and I figured they're probably more accurate than I'll be, so I'm using these two as justified angle. I don't have a real solid line to really pull a tape. Reason why I'm using this, it's a lot easier. Now I'm gonna measure my my skeg piece, my base, and come over and make 2 marks and go from there. So my skeg came out to be right at 3 inches. So what I'm gonna do is do it 1.5, make a mark here and a mark here. Alright, so that's gonna let me know where I'm about at. It's a little off, maybe, not too much. Now we'll place the skeg and make our marks for our screws. Okay, so now I've got my markers, and this varies a little bit because it's not the best in the world. So I got 2 little markers. I've got it roughly in between 2 little marks. I've got some a guy toothpick, and I got some acrylic paint. If you've ever watched my my feather painting, this is my feather painting paints. And so what I'm gonna do is put a little bit of this black paint through this hole using the toothpick, and I'm gonna make my guide holes. And my guide holes will allow me to then drill out my drill bit spots I need. So that's what I'm gonna do right here. The main thing I'm having to do is make sure that my little 2 marks I got on the side here, that I'm in between them, and that this rounded spot does not come near this point here at the bottom, because I don't want that to be impeded. Let's see if this did it. That really didn't do a good enough job for me. Well, maybe it did. I think it did. What I may do, I'm going to break this little point off. So, if you kind of take your teeth and kind of fan it out a little bit, what happens is you get kind of like a little brush or something where those wood splinters are, and then that allows me to take the paint now I can make a better spot with it. There they are. That allows it to be done. I cannot do anything with this because it won't take it. So we won't do 4, we'll just do 2. Put the cap back on this. And now we'll do our little screw holes and we'll be good to go. Unless you want to use the smallest screw or smallest drill bit you can use. So get these started in. Really, if you get these started in, you really wouldn't even have to drill, but I like to drill, do my pile of holes. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger. This pile of hole needs to be a little bit bigger. Just too much to go through at one time with this screwdriver. Actually, I need to get a bigger one because that's the drill bit I used to drill the hole. Hold on. Okay, now all we gotta do is use our little screwdriver here and screw this into place. So now what I'm doing, I'm kind of eyeballing, making sure this is level with the front of the kayak. So if it looks like I'm doing something weird, it is, because I'm just making sure that that hole is right where I want it. It's not really going to matter that much. If I want this to be as precise as I can get it with the tools I've got in my knowledge base. Alright, so we're now finishing up the last of this. This is all screwed in good. About as good as it's gonna get. Don't worry about this hole back here. I've got something planned out for it that will probably work. I should have done something I didn't. Oh well. We'll make it work. I still got tricks. Alright. Take another look. Looks even-ish. We'll call that good. Okay, so we got Skeg well epoxied in. We'll put this through. There is some slack in here, but not bad. I could have got a longer piece of pipe, but I think it'll do fine. I think that got it. Did. Just where I cut it, ground it, kind of got cattywampus a little bit. That's all right. I'm tightening all this in good. Okay. Now I need to That's a problem right there. That's a big problem right there. Did not expect that when I did that. I gotta cut that off right there. So we're gonna have to cut this off and round it. So why don't I make a mark? There. Right. Showing y'all my mistakes, folks. Take this off. I'll back this up. This is putting pressure right here to hold it in place. And as I back it off, this actually allows me to get it out. So I've got my angle grinder here, put on my safety glasses. Just go ahead and turn this on. Okay, now we got all this stuff we got to get off here. Nothing big. Alright, take this. What, 5-10 seconds? Easy fix. Just minor altercation, or alteration, not altercation, minor alteration that we need to do. So we'll go back to our workstation, get everything set up. It'll take longer for me to set up the camera, explain everything, than it will to put it on. So now we're going to put this back through, run this through, this through. Okay, so that's not hitting the back of the kayak. That is hanging vertically as good as I can get it. Okay, now we need to have a way to pull this up, and that is not, this needs to cut off at an angle so that I can get this come down over here. So we gotta cut here now, so you can't see. I was taking my fingers like you could see, but I've got to cut at an angle here because this bolt here is blocking everything. It wasn't blocking it beforehand, but I wanted the bolt for a little bit rigidity. So we're going to cut it one more time. Let's see. If I cut right here. I pair it to right there. Take this off and I'll show you what I'm thinking. So what I did, I made a mark right here and I made a mark right here. I'm going to take and make a line and cut right there so that I can kind of round it off and get more movement so they'll come over here. I'm wanting it to kind of come over here as much as possible. Now I'm going to take the angle grinder, just make a quick cut, go from there. Do like we did last time. Okay, a lot of plastic melted. Again, power tools. Melted plastic everywhere, hot. And we'll just kind of there we are. A little bit change in design, but not bad. We'll let this cool off just a second. Still have not impacted anything major. That's still melted, so be careful. Hot. But there we go. Pretty cool. Simple change, 5 seconds. Now back to work. So now what we'll do is put this right here, run this through right here. Okay, so that'll do like that. Now need to get a see how this far goes. This goes this far. Good. Good. Alright. I want to put a notch right about there. The reason why I'm wanting that notch is so that I can put a strap here, and I'll show you that in a second. Now there's a lot of ways you can do this. I'm going to do the quick way. I'm just going to heat up this. thought I was going to heat it up fast, but the bigger the piece of metal, the more heat it can take. So that means that you got to spend a lot more time and a lot more heat getting the metal hot. That right there is just barely touching it. I'm just taking my knife right here and just cutting through it. I mean, at this point, all I gotta do is take that torch and heat it up. I just need to make a divot, and that kind of already made a divot, that little metal piece. So I'm just trying to get a little bit of extra for a rope to hold on to, not much. And of course my dog found some squirrels. They're aggravating him to death. So Blueford is having a heyday with squirrels today, trying to guard the house from them. But I'm just going to keep cutting and whittling until I get a little notch cut. I may have to sharpen my knife after this. Again, butane torch. Just take this, hit it a few times, and that'll even up everything. I've got some elastic cord, so first thing I'm going to do is tie this in an overhand knot. Actually, we're going to do this in a double overhand knot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loop it around twice. And then cinch it down towards the end. Should be able to go over this. It does. Goes over it. Perfect. And then the next thing I'm going to do is make sure that this will go over this, but be taut enough that get it over there. So I'm thinking I'm going to cut it right here. So what I'm going to do is fish this line through this hole here best I can. I may need some fishing thread to make a snake. I'll see if I can do it without a snake. Alright, I was able to do it, so I fished it through, and I was going to use a washer, but I've got a nut here and this will fit in. You can do it a number of ways. I'll see if I can do it with a double knot. So what I'm doing is basically tying a overhand knot, but I'm doing it double round again. This is also called a surgeon's knot. It's a meat tying knot. There's a bunch of different names for it, but it just kind of holds a little bit better, I feel. Make sure it can't come through. It won't. Good. So this comes through like this, and then all I gotta do is run this around like that, and it'll hold. I just want to interject here for a second to say that you could stop right here and have a functional skeg. You've got everything you need and it would work perfectly. The only thing is you could not deploy it and you could not retract it at will. That's the only thing. And in hindsight, for as much trouble and aggravation that I went through, I would advise you to stop right here. You've got a skeg. This is what most kayak manufacturers do when they equip a kayak with a Skeg. Pelican, on their catch mode, it has a Skeg that you can either lift up or lift down, and it's movable. So if you hit a log or something other, the blade will move up and down. And when you're traveling with it, you just have a little tie thing. So it would be a functional Skeg like you see from most kayak manufacturers. Okay, so this has been crazy. My Casso broke, and I have had multiple battery changes in the last 4 days. I've been working on this. But what I did is I took some little stretchy black cord. If you don't have any stretchy elastic cord, you can go to the women's hair care section, probably at Dollar Tree or Dollar General or Family Dollar or even Walmart, and they come in little bands. It's for women to put their hair into ponytails and stuff with, and you can cut it up and use it. But I drilled a hole down at the bottom here, so this one kind of helps it down like that, and then I drilled a hole up here and ran it through, and that helps it here. So what I did is I took a piece of paracord and cut it. I'm going to take and use my lighter and run it through. I went to Halls. I was telling the guy what I was doing. He knew what a Skeg was, and I told him, I said I need mechanical advantage, so I got this screw eye. It's a number 8 1 5/8 inch, and it's black. Ran it through my little piece here. I'm gonna have to put some epoxy to make sure it's all good and solid. I don't want it coming out right now. It's loose. I ain't got much it's holding on to, but I'm gonna run the line through here and then run through a pad eye, and that will allow me mechanical advantage to pull up and do this number and pull it up. So that's what I'm looking for right now. Now I need to put a screw eye right here, pad screw eye. So we'll just run these through like this. Got 2 of them. They'll go in no problem. Okay, so I pre-drilled some little holes, very small holes. The smaller the better when you're doing plastic, I think. Alright. Alright, that's in there. That's grabbing. That right there will form a watertight seal. It's not going anywhere. Okay. Run this through. Good. Okay, that lets me know that it works. So I'm going to do another one right here. I'm thinking. Okay, so we've got to get a hole in here, probably right about there, I'm thinking, to pull this down and then go from there. So I'm thinking, let's do one. Let's do this right in here. Alright, so all I'm going to do is run a line from here for now and to the back here. Just going to tie a couple overhand knots because I'm going to have to undo this in a minute. Now the idea is to see if I can make this come back any. Alright, so I'm going to get over here and see if the mechanical advantage is going to do what I want it to. Oops. Out. That's good. Okay, like before, I've got pad eyes run all the way up. Now I'm going to run the line through the pad eyes like so. And then when I get done, I'm going to terminate into the handle like so. You've seen this done before. Okay, so I wanted to give you this look here because what I did is I screwed the screw eye in. I've got as far as I can go. Problem is this little backdrop thing here, I need to actually scoop it out a little bit. I need to file it out, and that will allow this to swing around. I hope it won't catch that bar. That's the next thing. There's a bar right here. It's hard to see, but there's a little bar right in there, and I hope it doesn't catch it. If it won't catch it, we're good, and I think we'll be fine. But I need to see if this is going to be it. Every time I touch it, there's another mechanism that I haven't thought about, another issue. And I apologize for the helicopters. They have been doing training sessions all day long with the Navy. But I'm going to take me a file and just keep working on this and see if I can't get this to work. I'm just worried it's going to hit this as well. I may have to grind it down or take it out. But I'm hoping that will not catch this once I get it up, and we'll be fine because I can't go any further in. It's already at that metal piece, so I can't go any further in. I thought I'd missed it, but I did. Okay, I think the answer is going to be a screw eye, just not that big of a screw eye. But I need something that's small. But yeah, I think that's going to be the answer. I've got to have something that I can pull. Maybe, yeah, I've got to have something I can pull that be small enough to work. So it's getting about time for the sun to start going down. I put all my cameras up, everything. My phone was dying on me. I had no cameras. I'm on the Picasso, but I finally found a little screw eye. I was going to go to the hardware store, but they're about to close. And I found one in my junk drawer, but I've got to cut this down. I've got to cut it down by half. So what I'm going to do is get grinding like a, I don't know, a angle grinder or something other, and cut it and screw it in, because it's still hitting that little metal post right in there. You can see that little post, so it's hitting that little bolt, and we don't need to do that. So if I cut it in half, we should be fine, and then that will allow me to do what I need to do. We'll see how this works. Eureka, I think we got it. So I'm going to tug on this rope here. That makes it go down. Yay! I think I'm going to add something to it just so that the top part will come up a little easier. Okay, so this thing has went through several iterations. It has been altered and changed from my original design a lot. So I wanted to kind of show you what's all going on, what we got going on. I've taken off the kayak because I had to, you see that little screw eye at the top right there, this black one right here, that I had to epoxy in here. So right in this little area there was an area that needed to be epoxied in so that it'd be harder and more firm, so that I can more resilient, so that I can be tugging on this. That's the reason why I did that. Now there's also that screw eye in the bottom of the skeg, okay, and that will allow me to tie in there. I have a hole left here. I'm going to use that for something. I'll show you that in a little while. Then what I did is I took two pieces of cord and attached to this bottom, and they're just tightened, you know, hand tightened up to what I like. So if I lose stretchiness, I can always untie it and tie it a little tighter. But I've got two holes, one right up here and one down here that they're attached to. Now there's another set of two right there on this part of the skeg. That's right there and right there. So two for the bottom, two for the top, kind of helping secure that. And then, like I said, we got the this hole, and then actually I told you wrong. This one I'm going to keep. This one we're going to tie to a line once we get this tied in. Okay, so you can see where the screws originally were. I just took a little alcohol wipe and I just cleaned out all my marks. This is probably the cleanest this kayak has been for a while, and you can see the scuffing where I've been loading and unloading it over the year. It's been wearing on it, so this is actually going to be, see more wear on the skeg now over time. But I just cleaned it out. Now I didn't use any silicone with any of these screws. My wife, she suggested I use silicone, and I didn't. Zawfinger, and Marty, if I'm butchering your name, I'm sorry, but if you watch Zawfinger's YouTube channel, he does a lot of modifications. He talks about that he never has any problems and he rarely uses silicone. The only time that he's ever noticed any type of problem with leakage has been when he was below the water line or at the water line. This is well above the water line. I can't find the silicone, so I'm going with his approach and his belief, and I'm just going to put the screws in here like normal. I'm not going to worry about silicone and everything. There we go. Now, we'll got this through here. This goes through the screw eye, and then this will go right here. Give this tug, give it a check. Okay. Perfect. Now this you know what, I may, let's try this, see how much better I get. I may get nothing out of it. This is kind of sharp and I had it running through there. I'm going to see what happens if I just run it through here. And this through here. All it is a simple set of double overhand knots. Let's see if I get better action this way. Okay. Yeah, I think I get better action that way. That's good there. Wish I had something that would help break it over, but I don't. Oh well. Okay, so I cut my line too short, so what I did, I'll show you this. It's a simple knot that I learned from my parents. They used to work in textiles. So what you do is you wrap your line about 2 or 3 times around the line, and then you tie an overhand knot. And this is used in textiles to marry 2 pieces of cords or strings. And so, of course, I've got a small knot I'm working with, and then you just kind of work it down, pull this out. It's not a fishing knot, but it does work. It's very strong. See that? So I'm just running that through, and that gives me the extra length I needed because I cut that off way too short. That was me being erroneous with my measurements. Actually, I can come up a little bit more with that. Another overhand knot. Alright. Run this through. And why ain't you going down? Go up. Right. So that goes up. Doesn't stay up, but it goes up. Now, this. Alright. So there we go. I think one of the bands got hung up on something. That's something to be careful of, but I'm going to try this again. Alright, there we go. Got that. Alright, perfect. keeper right here that will keep it. Keep this right here. I'll probably put the keepers about the same distance. And then that way I'm put that in the keeper and it'll actually keep that up if I need it to be kept up. And then let go down if I need it to be let down. And then this can just stay because it's just going down. Okay. Just do a quick tug. See what's catching. Ah. See what's catching now. So this right here is catching, and that needs to be that's what's catching. Come up. Okay. Come down. Like that. There we go. Pretty much has it in place. There's a little rubbing right there that I want to fix, but I can fix that easily. If all else, if I need it, I can always put a zip tie and just zip tie it. I just thought this would be better tying it, but I can zip tie it. Most time this will be down, never be a problem. I rarely will need it to be up, but if I do need it up, I've got it.